1,000-pound sisters, leaving Kentucky. Is she leaving the show? Is sure the worst thing Tammy Slaton has ever done. 1,000-pound sisters star Tammy Slaton has threatened to leave Kentucky, but I'm sure it will be the worst mistake of her life. The 38-year-old social media influencer rose to fame after appearing on the show, which premiered in 2020. At the time, Tammy weighed over 600 pounds, and at her peak, 725 pounds. The unscripted show chronicles the weight loss story of Tammy and her 37-year-old sister, Amy Slaton, and was filmed in Kentucky. I'm worried that the show will end if Tammy leaves the bluegrass state. Tammy's weight loss journey began when she had to be hospitalized for health issues. When the 1,000-pound sisters season 6 star woke up from a week-long coma, she realized she had to save her life. She treated her food addiction, underwent bariatric surgery, and lost 500 pounds. Losing weight has given Tammy her mobility and independence back. Now that she's able to support herself, she's considering leaving Kentucky. But I think that would be a big mistake that Tammy would eventually regret. The real reason Tammy wants to leave Kentucky's strong family ties have their pros and cons. The series 1,000-pound sisters is mostly about Tammy and Amy. Chris Combs, 44, Amanda Holterman, 43, and Misty Wentworth, 48, have always been a big part of Tammy and Amy's lives. But it also involves their 3 half-siblings. When Tammy was at her heaviest, her family took care of her. In fact, the 5 siblings have always been together. Now that she no longer needs as much help, she feels smothered by her family. The Slatons are a really challenging team, so I understand Tammy's frustration, but you shouldn't let your impulsive temper ruin a good thing. Being on 1,000-pound sisters changed Tammy's life in many ways. Not only did she help Tammy lose 500 pounds, but she also became famous. Her participation in the show allowed her to grow her social media following, and she became a prominent lifestyle influencer. Currently, Amy has 843,000 followers on Instagram and 296,000 on Instagram. Aside from what being on the show has done for her health and career, the show has inspired many people to pursue their own health and fitness goals. I think it would be devastating if she were cancelled. Losing weight has changed Tammy's life. She's more independent than ever due to her significant weight loss. Tammy's life has completely changed. When she weighed over 600 pounds, the 1,000-pound sisters season 6 star could barely move. She could barely walk, much less stand long enough to do laundry. Leaving her home was a big event that required a wheelchair, a walker, a wheelchair ramp, a special transporter, and someone to drive Tammy everywhere. Now that Tammy is a manageable size, she is very mobile again. Tammy no longer needs someone to bathe her or cook for her, but that doesn't mean she's independent. Tammy isn't ready to be alone yet. She still needs a lot of help. Tammy can do a lot on her own, but I don't think she's ready to be completely alone yet. Sure, the 1,000-pound sisters star can now fit into a normal car seat and use a normal seat belt, but she still can't drive. She still needs someone to drive her everywhere she goes, and I don't understand why anyone would think she could survive independent of her family. I'm as impressed with Tammy's progress as anyone, but I don't think she's realistic. This isn't the first time Tammy has had an emotional outburst. I hope the 1,000-pound sisters star can control her impulses. 1,000-pound sisters, Kentucky Blues? Tammy's plan to leave the bluegrass state could mean big trouble for Amy and the other Slatons. 1,000-pound sisters season 6 star Tammy Slaton is threatening to move out of Kentucky, which could be a bad sign for the popular unscripted series. The series premiered in 2020 and follows the lives of the amazing Slaton siblings. While the series stars 38-year-old Tammy and her 37-year-old sister Amy Sladden, the entire Sladden family is heavily involved in the series. Tammy and Amy are very close with their three half-siblings, Chris Combs, 44, Amanda Holterman, 43, and Misty Wentworth, 48. Over the years, fans have loved the hilarious dynamic of this close-knit family. With Season 6 of 1,000 Sisters recently airing, Tammy has threatened to leave Kentucky for good. Read on to find out what her departure means for the show and her family. Tammy's had enough of Kentucky. She might be done with the bluegrass state. 1,000 Sisters is filmed in Kentucky. If Tammy leaves Kentucky as she threatens, it could mean the end of the show, where the show benefits from favorable tax breaks. In theory, Tammy could stay in Kentucky during production, even if she lives in another state. But this is not a sustainable solution. The bottom line is that Tammy and Amy are the stars of the show, and if Tammy leaves Kentucky, the show will likely end. The remaining Sladdens will likely lose their jobs. Is Tammy fighting with Amy now? She's already arguing with Amanda. Tammy and Amy are close like sisters, and often call each other the Irish twins. Tammy's threat to leave Kentucky would hurt Amy more than anyone else. Tammy has no children of her own, but is very close with her nephews, including Amy's sons, Gage and Glenn Halterman. The demise of 1,000 Sisters not only means she will have to find a new job, but her children will no longer be able to see their beloved aunt every day. Tammy and Amy clash from time to time, but Tammy's biggest source of conflict these days is her other sister, Amanda. After living in Amanda's guest house for a while, Tammy accused Amanda of being a bad landlady and angrily left the house. This incident prompted Tammy to talk about leaving Kentucky. Although she is keen to get away from her family, she should think twice before doing anything that would put her 1,000 sisters at risk. Tammy has lost 500 pounds and become a new woman. She wants to show off her hard-won independence. At her heaviest, Tammy weighed 725 pounds. Her mobility was very limited and she always needed help even for basic needs. Tammy has now lost an astonishing 500 pounds, is mobile again and doesn't need as much help from her family as she used to. It's understandable that Tammy wants to show off her newfound independence, but it would be tragic to do so at the expense of her 1,000 sisters, who inspire so many people to lose weight and live healthier.